What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review, and check this out. Check it out. Okay, give me... Okay, sometimes... Ah, look! I did it! I finally reset up the lights back on my shelf there. And by reset, I mean they were set up the entire time. I just had to get a slightly longer cord. So now, look at that. You can see the definition of the figures so much more. You know, we're sitting here every day trying to make these videos better for you guys, and this is just a small part of that. Okay, so we are watching a SpicyAppies VOD today. Appies, one of my favorite players of all time to VOD review because he is open to doing some weird stuff, open to playing good TFT, which is sometimes not good TFT, but it's always good TFT. You know, he's playing TFT as Mortdog intended it, which doesn't always give you a great placement, but always does put you into at least an interesting spot. And this game was a very, very interesting game. So we start the game off with Slam onto Ashe here. Guinsoo Slam onto Ashe with the idea that we're going to be playing into Ashe Tryndamere. It makes sense, right? Guinsoo's a great Slam onto Ashe and onto Tryndamere. We have the chain open for something. You don't really want to build Titans as much as you want USS in this comp, but it could be an Edge of Night. It could be a frontline item, something like that. We see our first augment here, Advanced Loan Replication Slam in here. I mean, I think if you are playing Ashe Trin, it's probably Advanced. Actually, honestly, it's Replication if you're playing Ashe Trin. But Appies, for whatever reason, actually ends up starting to look at you know, his other options and take Slam in here. I mean, I think his thought process is we're playing TFT in current year, and you need an Econ augment. Now, the only issue with this, you know, for the Ashe Trin ideas, I think it makes Ashe Trin quite hard to play. So he's going to end up in this world kind of a tempo Ashe Trin, right? We are not really able to play reroll from this spot. I mean, we're certainly not going to be able to roll down for Bard. We're just going to have to play a strong early game based around Ashe Trin, which, I mean, it works. You get 3 Freljord in, you get the Alawi in a solid frontline. Tryndamere is a fantastically broken early game unit, so it actually works quite nicely. And it's an interesting, once again, it's a very SpicyAppies way to play the game where he says, you know what? I'm playing Ashe Trin, but I'm also taking Slam and I'm not playing Ashe Trin, and I mean, he always makes it work. And then we already have our next in here in the Bruiser. Hopefully we can just make some gold this next round. We do even, wow, we pick up the Shen too, and so yeah, he's even gonna level, wow, yeah, just the tempo level here, because I mean, we might as well level to 5 in this spot instead of making 10, because I mean, it's a disgustingly big upgrade to get 2 Bruiser onto this board. So already we have kind of a cool little, just, you know, play tempo, play your upgraded units, and, you know, don't worry too much about, you know, the gameplay. And we have a Guinsoo Slam, so we can easily play this into some kind of like Yunara game, into some kind of like Fast 9 game, you know, into Kindred and stuff like that. Very, very easy to play the game when you're on a win streak like this. But I don't think the game really goes as planned. I mean, at all, as you guys will see as we get further into the game. I think, you know, going into Carousel here, we already have the Bramble, so I mean, something like a belt actually looks pretty nice here, belt or tier. I mean, I like the belt, right? Yeah, it allows you to build it into any kind of frontline item. Tier, not that much utility in a board that we're playing so heavily around this Guinsoo's Rageblade, likely to be an AD board, so don't really need the tier as much, except for a tank item, but belt can be tank item anyway. So I like this, and we're also just hitting every upgrade here, which is really, really nice. I mean, you have all our 1-cost units upgraded, and we fight Ishtal Expeditionist here from Sheikah. Only 0 out of 25 there. Okay, but they do hit the 1. So that's 4 loss, 1. Isn't 4 loss 150? So maybe it was like 3 loss 105, something like that. I'm not actually sure, but all good. We win the fight, and we are slowly pre-leveling up with our Slam and feeling really good about the spot here. We even pick up GP pair here. I mean, surely we're not holding on to this, right? He also even moves Trin back just to ensure that he doesn't run too quickly to the front line and take any kind of aggro here. And obviously you want Trin in the extra damage here. Yeah, wow. I mean, this is also such an Appies play, and one that I would just never even think about is he holds GP pair here with the idea of, and then yeah, pre-leveling to level 6 here, with the idea of, I mean, he's a great next in, he's a Slayer, and I mean, if we had a GP2, we could actually even throw some items onto him, and we have the Alawi here as well, so we can play Bilge in the mid game if we pick up 1 more Bilge unit. So yeah, opts to actually spend the gold there to hold on to the GP. which is just such an interesting call. But I mean, once again, a very Appies way to do it. We pick up Rek'Sai here, which now kind of rewards us for the GP. We can fit Vanquisher in here. We still have to kind of fit Slayer. But yeah, we're going to drop out of the Ashe so that we can play this and make a Guinsoo Shojin onto GP. I mean, I don't know. It's just so fun watching this guy play the game, man. And then obviously, yeah, we slam on the Spirit Visage, which was the most obvious slam in this spot, but the Guinsoo Shojin blows my mind here. We are, though, very likely to lose this fight because we are fighting a Gravis, which feels really, really bad for us to actually drop Streak there. We're still in a good spot, though, I would say. But here's where the game kind of takes an interesting turn. Hurried Grab Bag, know your enemy, makeshift armor. I mean, all fine augments. I mean, Heroic Grab Bag, I doubt that you're going to really take in this spot. You know your enemy would be the one that I'm looking at here, especially with all these items from Slammin plus Makeshift, kind of a non-bow here. I mean, you could Heroic Grab Bag, double dupe, you know, upgrade your units, but we see Magic Roll here, and we say, you know what, this is generally a very solid combat augment or a very solid econ augment. You just don't get to pick what you want, but you know, you can get a ton of econ here, a ton of combat, so it's very, very nice in general. And we roll, and we hit the quadruple rod cash out. We hit quadruple component cash out, and we hit quadruple rods. Now, Appy is, to his credit, is a man who is always, you know, always has a plan here, is always thinking about what to do here. And so he says, wait a minute, this is just the entire unlock condition for Veigar. Why don't I just play Veigar this game? And Veigar is one of these units that I haven't done a single VOD review of Veigar this entire set, so I wanted to, you know, cover my bases and get some Veigar VOD reviews, especially as well because Veigar is actually getting buffed really, really hard next patch. He's receiving a pretty significant bug fix where he's going to stop missing. And so I thought this could be a nice kind of like slow introduction into this Veigar comp. And hey, you know, if it ends up looking good prior to being bug fixed, you always, anytime a comp like this gets a significant bug fix like that, you want to keep an eye out for it because sometimes these bug fixes can turn a unit from just completely underplayed to like straight up broken. The other really nice thing about Veigar and just Yordles in general is they're so guaranteed, right? We push level 7 here and we have the Koboko unlock, we have the Veigar unlock here. It's very easy at that point to start to get to the Kennen unlock, the Fizz unlock. It's just all kind of free here. Opted a bow here for some kind of, you know, MR shred, heal cut item. We don't have any of those. Do find the Veigar here. The sooner you get Veigar in, the better. Veigar is one of these units that has infinite scaling built into him. So you want him to be getting in there and getting participation in kills. And so we are going to put the double death cap on there. And the opposite of Reforge, the Quinces and actually hits Gargoyle. I mean, it's actually Binema, but also just goes to show, right? Like this is good TFT, right? We make the Guinsoo early to streak, to play tempo. We end up actually losing our streak, but it's okay. We save the you know, HP and get the streak gold, and then we end up in a totally fine spot here by just reforging Guinsoo. And now once again, look, we pick up the Tristana, we unlock the Poppy. And we're also already on our way to unlocking Kennen and to unlocking the Fizz. I mean, it's just so free in this comp to unlock everything. And it's not something I've ever really seen anybody do before. Usually when you're playing Yordles, you're obviously playing it from a Yordle opener. It's, you know, very easy to play Yordles into Yordle opener, but I've never actually seen somebody do this. They pivot back into Yordles, but all you have to do is find a few of the one costs, right? Especially because you have Veigar, you only need to find, you don't even really need to find Triss, is the funny thing. You obviously want to find Lulu and you want to find Rumble, and that's actually what we're lacking right here is the Rumble. You know, that's who you want to find, but Appies trusts that with our guaranteed Yordle shops, we will find Rumble, which I think is actually a good bet to make. We end up getting Void Staff plus TG here as just drops off minions, which is actually fantastic here. I mean, we need all of those things, and we are just going to level up for 8 Yordle here just to get the spike here, so then all of our items onto Kennen, the TG very easy to make onto the Fizz here, and we actually roll pretty good items. He thinks about moving Void to the Veigar, but I mean, I do think it just makes sense. Yeah, throw Void onto Teemo here, allow Teemo to use his damage over time to keep the Void proccing, and just, you know, throw the double death cap onto Veigar and let him have a good life here. He actually does pretty decently with this itemization here, and you can see, look at this Veigar damage plus this Fizz damage. We win this fight on all 1-stars. This comp, I mean, I'm not going to go as far to say that it's broken, but I mean, it looks pretty nice. Bronze for Life Sword Overflow, both kind of meh here. Band of Thieves pretty decent, and then we see Lucky Loves here, which is just fantastic. Jeweled Lotus is kind of a funny take because it's just going to give us that spell crit, right? Veigar actually already has built in the ability for his spells to crit. So there's no real reason to take Jeweled Lotus in this comp, other than, I guess, giving Fizz spell crit. But getting another TG, especially in this comp where you have so many units that you actually can itemize. Any comp like this where the power of the comp is spread out to all the units, right? 8 Yordle is going to buff every single Yordle unit and allow you to find more upgrades towards Yordles. You feel really good about something like a Band of Thieves, where once again your power is spread out. But yeah, we pick up that first dub here, and now this is going to be our board. We roll down here, by the way, because we're so paired up here, and we actually get Giga rewarded on it. Hit the Veigar too, which is huge here. And yeah, you can see him just kind of going crazy here on this board. Pick up Fizz 2 out of our free Bilgewater out of our free Yordle grab bag here, which is that's the other nice thing about this comp. And one of the things that actually surprised me, I thought when they nerfed Yordle, it was actually still going to be quite playable because of how strong it is in the mid game, because they actually buffed up a lot of the early game units. But what happened is a lot of people stopped playing this comp just because losing 1 reroll per round is really bad if you're trying to do these like fast 9 pivot into Annie type things. But if you're just trying to play Yordle into Yordle, if you have a Veigar 2 for free and all of a sudden a Fizz 2 for free, the board's actually quite good, because you have all of the buffs to things like all these little units, right? Teemo got a small buff, Rumble got a small buff, Lulu got a small buff, all of these compounding on the fact that you just have a pretty good board, and then Fizz is just kind of a good unit in general. We do pick up the red buff here, so now we have our heal cut and our Mar Shred made. That's another kind of nice thing about Yordle is that, eventually it can farm you components. On 8 it can farm you components, and we are also feeling good about having all these extra components on a board that, once again, there's so many units to itemize, right? You have 2 main tanks, you have 2 main carries, and then you have all these kind of support units, which Teemo can be. And eventually you even have stuff like the Ziggs, who is completely... I want to say underplayed unit, but probably appropriate played. He's just not that amazing right now, but he is also another unit receiving a really big buff next patch, and to the point where some people are saying like Ziggs is going to be the end all be all. We could maybe do a VOD review of Ziggs tomorrow. We'll see, of like a Ziggs comp that you can play for, because and then well, obviously if he does end up being broken or very, very strong on the patch, we'll do lots there. But it's something interesting to think about, certainly. And once again, one of these underplayed units that most people aren't really thinking about. So if you want to get an edge, you can get a significant one by playing around stuff that everyone else is not playing around. We do actually get another glove here off our lucky gloves, and then a cloak. The cloak is from the Yordle, which is, it's a little awkward, I would say. We don't really have anything to do with all these cloaks. Maybe we can look for another lucky gloves. Don't get it here. So he's going to reforge a cloak to try to get something a little bit better, and then reforge the other one, just saying, yeah, our items are not it here. Now we're actually getting to the point where we do just have a ton of items, and so he's going to level for the Tark here, unlock the Ziggs, and make, JG Nashers here, and the Adaptive as well. It looks fantastic, and we have items that can very easily transport over to the Ziggs here. Kind of funny that we have to itemize a Lulu on this round. So it's just an embarrassment of wealth. We have too many items at this point. And once again, talking about the guaranteedness of it all, we're guaranteed to unlock the Ziggs. This line is so consistent. Every unlock is just free here. So there's the Ziggs. We kind of have to play it over the puppy here. We do also just have this +1 unit slot here that right now is being dedicated to Rick here, just because we kind of do need the extra frontline in this spot. We don't have all that much in terms of frontline here. Goes through the remover and opts to not remove the last time. I would feel like the AoE stuff would be quite solid onto, or not the AoE, but the util would be quite solid on Ziggs. But I guess his thought is like, I have all these damage items. I kind of do just want like triple damage item here. He is also holding on to the extra Veigars and the extra Cannons here. This is how you can cap out this comp. One, you can just sometimes hit a Veigar 3 very, very easily off, getting units out of orbs, getting, your free rolls. And you can also super, super easily hit your 3-star 3-cost frontliners, which also kind of solves that frontline issue that we had. This is why we're playing Tark right now, is because we have this frontline issue. But if we hit something like a Koboko 3, like a Cannon 3, our frontline issue is solved a lot. But yeah, look at the Ziggs damage, honestly. The big bomb there ends up winning us the fight. Yeah, this unit, It's so cool to see because once again, this is one of these units that I feel like people just have not played around almost at all this entire set, and so it's cool to see people. I mean, Appies, of course, you know, of all people, is going to be the person to play around him. Veigar Gwyn's Rage Blade here. This we can just use to finish off. Oh my god, and Ziggs 2 and another Kennen to the point where now we're one Kennen off Kennen 3 here and another Fizz. That is usually the one that you see people 3-starring, by the way, is just the Fizz 3 because, I mean, yeah, most people don't have Veigar unlocked, but, I mean, if you get up in the spot for it, it's pretty good here. Fizz getting positioned third from the corner here. Fizz does have quite weird targeting where he doesn't always go in the spot that Diana goes, which I've heard is actually intentional, but his spell does not read like his spell says the same thing Diana says, so I'm not really sure why that he functions this way, but you know, some questions of science, you know, the world will never know. We finally pick up our Kennen 3 here, which is an immense spike on the board here, and yeah, we're quite strong. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to go out and say you should hard force 8 Yordle every single game you can, but I will say that this comp has looked very, very solid this game, and it's making me really interested in trying it out, especially, you know, over the next few days as this one gets buffed. I mean, this is a very, very strong Bilgewater board that we do end up losing to. I mean, we don't beat it, but we make the fight reasonable. And I mean, look at this. 2 Veigars and 2 Fizzes on bench. We are not far off of hitting our 3 stars. The problem is we're a bit broke here, I think. I mean, honestly, this looks like one of those situations where if we're playing this comp in a few days, we have the gold, we have the combat strength, and then we actually 3-star our stuff here. I mean, we do hit our 6 Veigar, oh, and our 6 Fizz here. I mean, it is a lot here. We continue to roll down, and yeah, I mean, we really actually just find not much of anything here. Still, ooh, he's actually gonna move. Ooh, look at this. Move these util items down here. Move TG to. Wow, this is actually kind of a crazy call here. Just, I mean, I think trying to do something here, but yeah, he actually opts to move the TG back or the TG down, put those items onto Fizz, and then tries to move the items down to Veigar. Not enough at the end of the day, so just another humble 4th farming, you know, games with Yordles, but still just, I don't know, a very cool game, honestly, and just I feel like showed the potential of this unit in a really interesting way. And so hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch and Meta links. Someone else. See you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, as always.